Hi again. So it's time for some more soul empowering hypnosis, and we will be working with the blue whale spirit animal tonight. And as always, we're going to be drawing from the Animal Spirit Guides book by Dr. Stephen Farmer. Okay, so getting into the messages from the blue whale and the group hypnosis session that we'll be having together tonight. The first bullet point comes really, really strong. Like it's going to be the crux of what the entire session tonight is based on. Oh, and as always, promise to tell you the page number and the date. So the page numbers for the blue whale are 43 and 44. So a nice angel number in there, 44. And then today's date is April 21st, 2025. Okay, so the first bullet point, again, this is going to be the crux of the entire session. I think it's going to be a really big deal, and I think that it's very important following on the heels of what happened with the beluga whale. And remember, we were calling in auditory changes, information, clairaudience, etc. And in that session, toward the very end, I got one of the longest, strongest, most diverse downloads that I've ever gotten from the universe with those, by way of those sort of like high pitched tones that come in. I hadn't gotten one of those in weeks, maybe months. And it came in so strongly, and I heard it in 3 different tones, and it held like for minutes and minutes. It was still going on while I was wrapping up the session, and that was beluga whale. And so I think it's really interesting that now we're at blue whale, and this is what the first bullet point says. It says, you're going to be receiving messages from spirit that will be so loud and clear that it will be impossible to ignore them. All right, so I guess you guys are about to get something that is going to be very, very transformative, powerful, loud and clear, and you can't ignore it. I love this so much because my clients, my one-on-one hypnosis clients, they have a tendency to really want to know what their purpose is. They care about what their purpose is, as well as are they fulfilling it to the maximum capacity. And a big part of what they want to know about is clarity. Like they just really want clarity about decisions, if they're doing the right thing, is there anything else they're supposed to know or do? And so tonight could be really, really powerful for you finding clarity on whatever it is. Maybe it's related to your purpose. Maybe it's related to your health or relationships or your career or where to move. But there's so many things where we have these big decisions, these big moments in our lives where, man, just some clarity would be really, really helpful. And so I believe that you can absolutely get that tonight. And then if you guys were here last night, you remember that I was really, really congested in the beginning of the session. And I said to you guys, okay, I'm going to have to drop myself into hypnosis much more, where I'm at your level of depth as opposed to like where I normally am, which is a much lighter state. So I allowed myself to drop in. Luckily, I have the tea timer that kept us on time. And sure enough, they did end up giving me really good advice. I did not turn on the heater when I came in here today. They cleared out my sinuses and my throat chakra, and they also cleared out my third eye, which I find to be interesting because as far as the way that my symptoms were presenting, it was really from about here to here. So that's interesting. And then today, as far as clearing out the third eye, I've already seen a couple of sparkles, one downstairs and then one earlier today right over here. And this is not like some people, a skeptic would go, okay, Courtney, so you're telling me you're getting tinnitus because the high pitched tones and you're getting vision issues. Like that's not magical. That's doctor worthy. No, it's magical. Because when I am more connected, these things start to happen for me more. And it's actually been years and years since the last time I was getting sparkles. But when I was getting sparkles, this is back when I was living in Virginia. That's when I was really starting to connect in more and more and more. I was receiving a lot more hypnosis as a client during that time as well. So it's really a very nice feeling to be back. So I'm glad that we're experiencing all of this hypnosis together because not only am I getting to help you, but I guarantee that you're getting to help me because you're having me tune in even more than I would normally if left to my own devices. So I really, really appreciate it. And I'm very excited about what's going to happen for you in your hypnosis session in just a couple of minutes. Okay. Then it also says, now that you've finished the plans for your creative project, take a deep breath, dive in, and watch how smoothly it grows and develops. Then it also says, be willing to help out those who ask you, whether it's giving coins to a homeless person, listening to the concerns of your friends and family, or pitching in at a local charity drive. It also says, be extra careful with your communication during this time, both with listening and speaking, to make sure that you understand and that you're understood. And then the final bullet point says, take some time to investigate and understand the esoteric concept of the Akashic records and what this means for you and our planet. It's a really interesting bullet point. I'm not really sure what they're getting at there as far as you needing to understand the Akashic records and how it relates to you and the planet, but it's so intriguing. I'm sure that it's worthy of investigation. And then I want to tell a very quick story about an Akashic records technique and training that I took a few years ago. So it's very interesting how these healing modalities, while they are very similar to each other, they're also very different from each other. So when it comes to soul empowering hypnosis, SEH, hypnotherapy, and you compare it to, for example, going into the Akashic records. I took the Akashic records training from these two sisters that I love very much. They're actually SEH students of mine, and I really enjoy taking their Akashic records certification. One thing that they do very differently than we do in SEH hypnosis is you'll notice that at the end of these sessions, I will do the emerging script and I'll say to you that as you come back, all of this connection, all of this openness, all of it will stay accessible and open to you at whatever percentage feels good to you. Now, the percentage that might feel good to you is 0%, but for somebody else, it might be 15%. For somebody else, it might be 100%, right? And the reason that I started to incorporate that phrase into the emerging script, which is that it will stay open and accessible to you at whatever percentage feels good, is because traditionally in the hypnosis emerging scripts that I've learned throughout my 14 certification trainings is they say that we're shutting down the connection. I was receiving a session from a favorite practitioner of mine, one of my classmates. She was following the script. She was saying, we're going to go ahead and close the connection now. And I remember hearing my team say, no, we're not. Don't you dare, Courtney. Like, we want to stay with you and connected to you, and we want to have an open dialogue with you. There is no reason to shut this down. And Courtney, whenever you're facilitating hypnosis sessions in the future, we want to make sure that you notify your clients that they don't need to shut it down either, right? So that message came from Spirit. That's how I've been receiving sessions and facilitating sessions ever since. And it goes great. Okay, so it's important to say that has turned out to have very positive results. Now, Akashic records, for some reason, different. Okay, so I'm taking the Akashic records training, and the two sisters, Lucia and Lorena, they're saying in their recording, make sure that you do an opening ceremony for how to connect in with these records, and make extra sure that whenever you are closing the records, that you also actively close them. Don't forget to do that. I think probably because I'm so used to hypnosis and that way of doing things that I thought, oh, no big deal. Connect in, whatever, you're good. Go on about your day. No, this is different because that night I had a very weird dream where it felt like I was tuning into a parallel universe. It was still me, and it was still my husband at the time, my husband, Charles. We like him. He's a great friend still. So in this parallel universe, I'm still me, he's still him, we're still together, but it's like totally different in terms of what his personality is like and the way that he is engaging in the world. And it was so real. Like, it was so real. And I woke up thinking, like, what was that? Like, that was so strange. And so it finally dawned on me that I had opened up that Akashic connection and I hadn't bothered to close it. I was like, oh man, this is really different than when you intentionally leave the connection open in hypnosis. And I don't know, because I'm not an expert in the Akashic records at all. I don't know if it's like saying to somebody, well, it's like a person who doesn't understand the difference between food and water. Like, let's say that you're an alien and you hear about food versus water and you think that they're kind of the same thing, but you don't really understand the concept that like solids and liquids are different and hydration and calories are different. You know what I mean? Like, we get all of that, but an alien maybe would go, wait, how are they different? But they really very much are. So maybe hypnosis and Akashic records are that same type of thing where like they're both great, they're both good for you, but you really do have to approach them differently and treat you very, very differently. So I just wanted to say that when we are keeping things open at the end of these sessions, it's very good for you. But maybe if your practitioner in another method tells you to close the connection to, and I don't mean another hypnosis style, I mean another method such as Akashic records reading, to like maybe go ahead and pay attention to what they're saying and to close it. And I just want to tell one more quick story, going back to that first bullet point that says you're going to be receiving messages from spirit that will be so loud and clear that will be impossible to ignore them. So I had that happen to me back in 2022. So remember, the world was still shut down back in 2022, where we still couldn't breathe fresh air. We still couldn't get on airplanes. We still couldn't travel internationally. Like, that whole thing was still very much shut down. And I was still living in Virginia, and all I wanted in my heart was to move back to Hawaii. Like, I'd wanted to move, and this is 2022. I had wanted to move back to Hawaii since 2013. So we're almost 10 years into me wanting to go back home to Hawaii. And I didn't know when the world was going to open back up. So I didn't even know if it could happen soon. And I was receiving hypnosis sessions from my soul empowering hypnosis students. And because they facilitate graduation sessions on me, so I can give them really nice feedback, let them know how they're doing, give them tips, give them compliments, and then it's a nice way to certify people and know they're doing a really, really good job with SEH. So I'm receiving sessions, and I start getting messages from the universe saying, Courtney, you're going to be moving to Washington State, and you're going to open up a retreat center. I was just like, what? Like, I love Washington. I've been to every state. I've been to every national park. And so that's helped me see the nature elements of every state. And my favorite states are Hawaii, Washington, and Arizona. Love them. So it's not like I dislike Washington. I love Washington, but it's not Hawaii. And the eye was on the prize of Hawaii. And so they're telling me Washington. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Not to mention retreat center. Like, I'm not against retreat centers, but I don't want the responsibility of a retreat center. Like, this is not something that I would gravitate to on my own at all. So I'm getting these messages, and because it was just so out there, I think that's why I remembered them so well. And then the world opens up a couple months later. I leave the husband a couple months later and move to Hawaii on my own. I'm only in Hawaii at that point for about 4 months. And one of my students who does know me pretty well, we'll call her Jan. Her name's not Jan, but we'll just give her the name Jan. So Jan, she's a student who knows me pretty well and knows that I have received that message about Washington and the retreat center. Not many of my students were aware of that, but she was. Then she was working with a practice client who had taken a class with me like a year or two earlier, didn't know me very well at all. And this is Liz, the Liz who's been on some of the lives with me. So Liz did not know me very well at all at that point. So Liz is receiving a session from Jan, the student who did know me really well. And Liz starts to say, they are sending me a message for Courtney. I'm going to go ahead and channel the message. And she starts to say, Courtney is going to be moving to Washington and she is going to open up a retreat center. And it is in a town called something like Sequoia. All right. Now I've trained all of my students to record their sessions. They know you got to record these sessions. So my student, Jan, says to me, Courtney, you're never going to believe this. Liz has given me permission to share this excerpt of her session with you. It's really, really relevant to something that you care about. Watch it. And so I actually took a couple of weeks. I'd forgotten that she sent it to me. I wasn't thinking about it. I took a couple of weeks, and then Jan messages me and she's like, "Did you watch the recording?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't watched the recording, but I'll watch it today." And so I think that all of that time passed to give me a little bit of time to do some things. Like I had actually taken a trip to Washington, and I had done a little bit of reconnaissance. And a couple of my clients, they lived in a town called Issaquah, and they talked so favorably about Issaquah and how they had a cabin in the woods. And I was like, whoa, you're telling me that like right outside of Seattle is a little town that can have cabins in the woods? And so I had already decided, all right, I'm going to pay attention in this town called Issaquah. So then I play the recording of this client who does not know me very well. And she's saying Courtney's moving to Washington to open a retreat center in a town that sounds something like Issaquah, right? And so I'm watching this and I'm like, holy crap. Okay. Like that's just too on the nose. That's way too on the nose. So I notified my landlord in Hawaii. I booked my flight to Seattle. I scheduled my car that had just been shipped from Virginia to Hawaii. I scheduled it to be shipped out to Washington. And within like 2 months, I was gone. Like I moved. And yeah, so that's a good example of you're going to be receiving messages from Spirit that will be so loud and clear that it will be impossible to ignore them. And so people will say to me, they're like, so are you going to open up a retreat center? I don't know. I don't know. Like maybe, I mean, it sure feels like it's probably coming, but I'm not really sure what will happen. I just know that I'm out here and this is actually my favorite place that I've ever lived. Did not see that coming. I would have thought nothing could ever beat Hawaii, but it is just magnificent out here. And so we'll just see. Like, I'm not saying no to the idea, but I also, I know that if it's meant to happen, it will happen, and I don't have to rush it. So it's probably coming. Will it be in Issaquah? I don't know. I really like North Bend, which is like a 15-minute drive from Issaquah, and that's where I am now. And I just love it out here. You've got more mountains and more waterfalls and more mosses and ferns and evergreens, and it's just so picturesque. So we will see. To be determined. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get you ready for some hypnosis. So what I want you to do is grab your favorite pillow, grab your favorite blanket, get nice and cozy. While you're doing that, I'm going to let you know how to work with me further. You just go to my website, CourtneyStarkey.com. When you go there, you'll see a little pop-up window. You can put in your first name, your email address, and then you'll get access to a free guided hypnosis recording. That'll also get you on my email list, which is a very good place to be. And then you can also sign up for the group hypnosis membership. We have a monthly group hypnosis event. It's so great, really good people. Not only do you get to experience hypnosis, you also get to experience psychometry, which is a really big deal, very, very valuable. And then my favorite way that we can work together is you can book a one-on-one session with me. Yes, you can go through the portal. That's the typical one-on-one session. I don't want you to do that. I want you to click on the red heart that says Save Money. When you click on that red heart, you're going to be able to book a one-on-one session with me that is $300 less than the other kind. The reason that it's $300 less is because those sessions are reserved for prospective students. So Soul Empowering Hypnosis, SEH certification students. Now, that doesn't mean you have to become a student. All that means is that we're going to have a very quick, zero pressure conversation about if you would like to sign up for the certification program. And if you did sign up, what would you like to get out of it? What would you like to experience? That's really what I want to know. Just what would you like to experience and get out of the program? And then I'll ask you if you have any questions for me about the program. So zero pressure. And then if you do decide to sign up, 100% of the cost of that session is applied to your tuition, which makes it a totally free session. And so sometimes people will go, well, Courtney, I don't want to do that because I know for sure I'm not going to sign up as a student. You don't know that. I've had so many people who have never experienced hypnosis before in their entire lives. They have one SEH session and then they go, holy crap, like whatever that was, I need more of it in my life. And then they actually do end up signing up for the certification training because they understand that that is the most economical way to receive a ton of world-class hypnosis sessions, including from yours truly, while also learning to become an SEH practitioner, which means you're learning how to self-guide. And it also means that you're learning how to help your friends and family And if you're already a healing practitioner, whether you're a psychologist or you're a Reiki practitioner or an acupuncturist or whatever it is, you can incorporate SEH into your healing work. And you've got a great business model that you get to enjoy being an SEH practitioner. So it's a win-win-win. All right, I hope I gave everybody enough time to get nice and cozy so we can experience some hypnosis with the blue whale. I'm really excited. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close my eyes along with you. And beginning to enjoy the feeling of having your eyes closed. And beginning to focus on your breathing, which should be deep and regular, from way down to way up. And as you're taking those nice, deep, relaxing breaths, go ahead and begin to really feel, really enjoy the nourishing oxygen that flows in with each in-breath. Beginning to really feel, really enjoy the peaceful energy that flows in with each in-breath. And with each exhaling breath, beginning to really feel, really enjoy the feeling of letting go, releasing, relaxing, more and more with each out breath. And as you continue to take those nice, deep, relaxing breaths, go ahead and from your heart, invite in a really warm, loving, protecting energy. This energy of protection begins to flow in from the top of your head, you may notice that it has a color, a light, or feels warm as it flows further down your entire body, all the way down to the tips of your toes, so that your entire body is filled, bathed with this warm, loving, protecting energy, so much so that you begin to glow and radiate a halo of protection all the way around your entire body as you get to enjoy feeling so calm, so safe, so peaceful, and so protected. And as you continue to enjoy that wonderful feeling, go ahead and from your heart, send out an invitation, a request to your soul, your guides, your spirit friends, your spirit animals, including the blue whale, just letting them know these words from your heart. I am open and I am ready for the positive shifts, the clear messages, the loving energy, the helpful wisdom. I am open and I am ready. And taking your time, there's never any rush, sending out that invitation until it feels complete. And what we're going to do next is going to be really peaceful, really enjoyable. Go ahead and begin to feel as drops of energy slowly fall down into a pool of energy, a portal of energy. And each drop takes you with it deeper and deeper into this pool, into this portal of very soothing, warm, safe energy. I'm going to count backwards from 10 down to 1. And with each number, feel as each drop takes you with it deeper and deeper into this warm, cozy, safe environment. It may feel like the womb, a really happy, safe, nurturing womb, or maybe it'll feel a little bit different. No matter what, it's a really good place to be. 10, opening the portal now. 9, deeper and deeper and deeper into this warm, cozy, safe environment. 8, a place that has been waiting for you. 7, where this beautiful blue whale is waiting for you. 6, deeper and deeper and deeper. 5, flowing there so easily. 4, to that warm, cozy place that has been waiting for you. 3, that is very safe, very nurturing. 2, nearly there. 1, outside of the portal and into that warm, cozy, safe environment. That beautiful, nurturing place that's been waiting for you. Be there now. In this really warm, cozy environment, with this blue whale, go ahead and ask the blue whale what it would like to share with you. Maybe it will be energy, maybe it will be information, but just ask, what would it like to share with you? We're going to sit quietly for a couple of minutes. And remember, you can always ask this spirit friend any follow-up questions, any clarifying questions if you ever want to know more. Sitting quietly for a couple of minutes now. Really enjoy. Taking a few more moments. And in just a moment, we're going to invite the blue whale, or maybe a different spirit friend, or maybe your soul. We're going to ask now for your soul, your guides, your spirit friends to send you a message. Not just any message, but a message that is so loud and clear that it will become impossible for you to ignore it. So ask your team to send you a message that is just so loud and clear that you have to listen. You have to take action. We're going to sit quietly for a few minutes, remembering that you can always ask follow-up questions, clarifying questions, if you need to ask your team more. Taking a few more moments. And based on these very clear, very loud messages, you have information for the future. So in this next exercise, I want you to go ahead and look into the future, whatever time frame makes sense. Maybe it's a week from now, a year from now, 3 months from now. But go ahead and take a nice long look into the future to see how life is going if you take action on the clear, loud messages that you were just given. So take a few minutes now to look into your future to see how it goes once you've listened to the messages and you've taken appropriate action. Taking a few more moments. And as our final exercise tonight, if you would like, you can go ahead and go into the library And you can access the Akashic records that will be helpful for you to be aware of today. And we'll go ahead and we'll do a nice opening to allow your heart, your mind, your spirit, your soul to open up to this place, accessing only the loving, helpful, beneficial records. And yes, you can read them with your eyes, but you can also place the books on the palm of your hands and absorb the information that way. You can also hold the book up to your chest and receive it in through your heart. It's whatever feels best for you, most effective for you. And we're going to sit quietly for a few minutes and just peruse. Follow what your heart is drawn to and receive that information, perhaps on a conscious level, perhaps on a subconscious level, and that is perfect as well. Sitting quietly for a few minutes now. Enjoy your time in the library. Taking a few more moments. You can go ahead and begin to close down the connection within the Akashic Records, knowing that you can reopen it and go back in there whenever you want, but now is the time to begin to close it down. If you haven't already done so, you can lovingly place the books back, say thank you to the librarian. And before we begin the process of bringing you back, go ahead and say thank you, send your love, gratitude, appreciation to your soul, your guides, your spirit friends, your spirit animals, including the blue whale. And allowing them to reciprocate and to send their love, their appreciation to you as well. And knowing that we're going to begin the process of bringing you back in just a few moments. When you come back, you'll be able to do all of your day-to-day activities just fine, just like normal, like driving, grocery shopping, dialing phone numbers. You'll be able to do all of that just like normal. And you'll also come back in a way where this access, this connection, this opening will stay open at whatever percentage feels good to you. So beginning the process of coming back now to this time, this place, the cozy cushions underneath you, returning your focus to the sounds inside of the room and the sounds outside of the room, and also returning your focus to your wonderful body and your wonderful breathing. And now as you're focusing on your breathing, really feeling, really enjoying the enlivening energy that flows in with each in-breath. Really feeling, really enjoying the vivacious energy that flows in with each in-breath, and really feeling and really enjoying the enthusiastic energy that flows in with each in-breath, and taking 2, 3, or 4 more really enthusiastic, really energizing, very vivacious in-breaths, and then opening your eyes wide awake and alert, and all the way back now. Welcome back, gang. So as always, I would love to get your feedback, whether it's email or you write your comments in the comment section of this video. I'd love to know how it went for you. And then also make sure that you save this video so that you can come back and tell me like how it went, like how the results go. Because that's also very interesting, where of course, like it's very helpful to get spirit realm wisdom, but then it's what do you do with it after the session? And then how does your life improve? Like how does your life change after you take action with, what you've gotten in these sessions? So make sure that when you follow up with me, I'd love to hear, yes, about the session itself, but I also want to hear about how your life is going and all the positive changes that have occurred. Okay, and let's see what animal we're going to be working with tomorrow. We're going to be working with boar. Okay, that's a new one. All right, very fun. So we'll be doing boar. tomorrow. Love you guys very much. I'll see you in about 23 hours, and we'll do it again, but this time with boar. We're going to go land mammal this time. We'll see what happens. All right, love you guys. Have a great night, and keep me posted on how you're doing, please. I really, really love getting your updates. All right, see you soon. Bye.